Good morning and welcome back to Papercraft. I'm Natalie and today we're going to be doing a photo sleeve project. So we're going to start off in CanvasWorkspace and we're going to give ourselves a base to work on. And I'm going to be using the print to cut add-on for a small section of this, so it may be that might be something you might be interested in, or there are different ways that we can work around what we're going to be doing. So, first of all, don't be afraid to say hi and let me know that you're watching. And let's get stuck in. So I'm going to zoom in so you can see my mat a bit better to start with. And if you just open CanvasWorkspace, just close the project window that opens up front. So, first of all, we're going to go to Artboard. And I'm going to set my artboard size to A4 because that's the size my printer is. And I'm going to turn on the registration marks. So the registration marks is basically how it's going to align between the printed file and the cut file. So we definitely want to see those. Okay. So now that we've done our basic setup, let's start off by working on the cut section, not the cook files. It just says you gotta love subtitles. Okay, so I'm going to start off with a rectangle and I'm going to size this. First of all, let's change to inches because I always find it easy to do photos in inches. So I'm going to do this by 6 by 4 to start with. Okay, and you're going to see that it's going to jump to 4.2, so just for the sake of argument, I'm just going to untick that and let's just put that to a nice round 4 inches. Okay, retick it for now. So our photo sleeve is going to fit a photo that is 6 by 4 inches, but we need to give it a little bit extra room just to slide in and out. So what we're going to do is if we go down to the bottom of the edit panel, you're going to have offset. So I'm just going to click on offset, put the teeth back in, and then we can do a little bit of an offset just to give us a bit of wiggle room. So I want to take my offset amount down pretty low. I'm going to go okay. So that's going to give us just enough room for that photo to slide in and out. Okay. And in our layers, you can see that you've got two shapes. So we've got the smaller original photo shape and the larger one that is going to be for our sleeve. Now, if you want to save that photo crop because you know that you want to put a photo in that's bigger than the 6 by 4, you can just hide it away. So we need a front and a back. So I'm going to duplicate this one. Okay. And I'm going to select both of these shapes like so. So just click and drag over the top. I'm going to go back to edit, down to distribute space, and I'm going to take that down to 0. And I'm going to press on vertical alignment. So that means we now know that there's 0 space between these shapes. Brilliant. Now I'm going to line it up to either the left hand, the right hand or the centre. It makes no difference, whichever one you want to do. And then we have the start of our folder. So we've got our 2 rectangles. Now, it's really tempting at this point to go, right, okay, so blue tab there and there, fold up. Okay, and if that's what you want is a top loading pocket, that's fine. But for a photo sleeve, usually we're going to slide that in from the side. So we can put a tab down here. Okay, and we can also put one to one side if we want, so we've got something that's going to stop it falling out the other end. But that's entirely up to you. Now for the project that I know I'm going to be doing, I know that my photo is going to end up being portrait, so I'm definitely going to put a tab on the bottom. So I'm going to use my little polygon shape with the trapezium. I'm going to press and hold shift so that I lock that to the 90 degrees. And again, we can line that up. And line up. And where this fold is actually, let's just bring it in a little bit. Okay. And height-wise, we can bring that down. If we click on it again, we can access our nodes. And I can just use my arrow keys just to move those up and down. And if I press and hold shift, they're going to jump much quicker. So far, we've got our one glue tab. Let's do another one. Now, obviously, these glue tabs I'm doing are huge. So they don't need to be that big. Which is good for you to see on screen, especially if you're watching on mobile. So click again, and we're just going to move these nodes this way. And if you want to be all precise, you can count the number of times that you're pressing the arrow key so that they match up and things like that. Now, just make this just a little better. Let's just shrink these down a little bit so they're not quite so big. There we go. Okay, so we've got our glue tabs, and we don't want to lose points like the drawing between our two original rectangles, which at this point, if we were to go out this, we would lose that line as a reference point. So I'm going to go to my path tool. I'm going to go to my rectangle. I'm going to click once and click again. Now, that gives us the first bit of our line, but we've still got this one attached to our arrow. So what we want to do next. So I'm going to select all the shapes apart from the one I've got hidden. Okay. Then we're going to go to Edit and Weld. That's going to weld that all together. So we still need to do our fold lines for these sections here. Now, if I go too much further, let me just see if I can see any chat. Okay. Come on, let me see comments. It's not letting me see comments today. Let me see if I go back out and back into it. There we go. So let me do hellos quickly. So hi there, Pythia, hi Michelle, hi Carol, hi Linda, and if I haven't mentioned you, I do apologise. Just drop me a quick hi and let me know that you're watching. So we've got the basics of our photo, and let's just. Well, because I'm going to do that after I've done all the print section. Now, if you want to stay working in just Canvas, is that flickering happening on your end as well? Because I think my Streamlabs is struggling. That's weird. Let me know if you're having issues with seeing or hearing me. It might be that my internet is struggling today. Okay, so as I was saying, if you want to stay in CanvasWorkspace and you have the printer cut and you want to add all your elements in here, that's absolutely fine. Just when you get to doing anything that's going to be by the aperture, you're going to use image tracing. Or you can do what I'm going to do in Publisher. So, with this all done, we are going to go to File. We're going to go to Export PDF File and All Visible Layers. So the reason that we do that is rather than it only doing any images that we have included in the document, we're actually going to also take all the shapes that we've put in. And it's the shapes that we need for this one. So I'm going to call my document Photo Sleeve. Now, with this method, this photo sleeve could be any photo sleeve at the moment. So we can call it a template. And it could be that we've done a load of stickers. Basically, the same concept is going to be exactly the same. So what we're saying is we always want to cut this cut line. So I'm going to save that as my PDF. And while I'm here, just in case my machine crashes, I'm going to go to Save As. And I'm going to call the document photo sleeve template 2. So that I can always come back to it if I need to. Okay, so far so good. So now we're going to go across to Publisher, which I already have open. I'm going to go to File, Open. I'm going to go to the Downloads folder, which is my shortcut. And let's bring in the PDF. So it's going to say, well, what size do you want this PDF, blah, blah, blah. As a rule of thumb, you should just be able to go open and it should be okay. And I'm just going to change my measurements so I go to millimeters. And then that's a good way of just double checking it's coming in at 8.4. Okay, so we've got our photo sleeve and where we're going to go from here. So your photo sleeve down here is the front, this is the back, because you're going to have all your joins kind of going around to this side. So just concentrate on this panel to start with, and then we can always stick another photo in the back. So you'll also notice I'm not in Designer, I'm in Publisher. So those of you that want to join us for the Affinity Workflow workshop, there's going to be a video going up about how that's going to run in terms of costs and everything, and that should be up later this week. We're a little bit behind schedule with everything, so not too good. But hey ho, we'll get over it. So with our photo sleeve, what we want to do is start to import our content. So the reason that we're working in Publisher is we can actually import frames rather than just images. So let's say, okay, we've got a picture frame here. We can actually fill that frame with something. So before I go too far though, first thing we need to do is see all these elements in our PDF. At the moment, the software doesn't realise how important it is that it doesn't move anything. So before I go any further, I'm going to select everything, so select all, and we're going to lock it. So that's a really important step, is just making sure that we're locking everything, particularly when it comes to our registration marks, but also for our cut line. So I'm going to bring in a picture frame, and even though I know it's going to be printed on something else, I'm going to import my photo first. So even though I'm in millimeters, I can still type 6 inches to get 6-inch width. I can do 4 inches for the height. And we know then that it is the right size. Just make sure that your ratio is unlocked for that one. Otherwise it will change both ones. So there's our photo. We know it's going to sit slightly inside. And we can go up to replace image. And this is where we're actually going to put our image into its container. So before coming on stream, I was really organised and I went through some photos to pull into my photo frame. So I'm going to start off with my main photo. And we're going to see straight away it's going to come up the wrong way, because at the moment our template is sitting sideways. And it is what everybody goes, oh, should have done it the other way and rotate it. No, 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 no. We don't need to do that. The joy of a photo frame is we can just do that. Okay, So now you're going, okay, that image is still much bigger than what we're seeing here. And at the moment, it's not allowing a lot of room for a frame. So if we go into properties, we can go to scale to max fit. And we'll go done. And again, I'm going to lock this layer because it's there as a reference. And I'm also going to reduce its opacity. So we can kind of see where the main elements are, but without having it kind of in your face to be sort of hiding any errors that we make with the frame. So now we can go and do a few other bits and pieces. So first of all, I'm going to do an image box. I'm going to size it so that it's very slightly larger than the front of our sleeve in all directions. Now this is known as a bleed, and it's basically there for if you don't get your alignment quite right. But it's also really good for when you're doing your folds, so that you don't kind of get that white edge effect going around the outside of your insert. So, okay, we've got our picture frame and we're thinking, okay, if we drop our paper into that, so if I go to Place Image, and I'm going to go to light brown paper, and let's pick one at random, it doesn't really matter, so let's go open. Okay, so I've got a dotty one, and at the moment that's going to print all over like that. Now bear in mind we've got our picture underneath, we need to still be able to see that, otherwise when we come to bring in our other elements there's no point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create another box very roughly, and that's going to be kind of creating the borders of our frame. Okay, we can resize that as much as we want to at this point. Okay, I'm going to select that on my original frame. I'm going to go to alignment and go center and center because we know we want that kind of central. And we can also do geometry and subtract. Ta-da! So there's the start of our frame. Now let's show you the other benefit of using Publisher to do this. So okay, I've put my paper in and I'm like, it's not quite the right colour though. So we can change the colour in here. We can go, actually, I'm really not happy with the whole frame, so we can actually replace the image because it's sitting inside. And again, that's fine too. So we can go replace image, pick a different one. And it's all non-destructive because it's all just sitting there underneath this masked image. Okay, but remember we're sideways, so our zigzags at the moment go up and down our insert, and we can still rotate if we need to, like so. We can go, actually, let's see if we can make this framing a bit better position wise, and we can go like that, and we can move stuff around, and it's all still sat there underneath, but it's just hidden from view. Okay, so at this point, if you wanted to, you could go, right, okay, photo sleeve done, just go to print. But that wouldn't be me to do something that simple, would it? So what I'm going to do is, just for now, bring in another image box, and it's fairly big. I'm going to go replace image, and I'm just going to change view so that we can actually see. Okay, zoom in So there we go. So I want to pick something that I can kind of cut out and use to decorate my frame. So I have lots of detailed shots on the same thing, and I can pick whatever I want to actually bring into my frame. So let's say some pictures, rotate it around, and here. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to kind of cut that out. So at this point this is a picture frame, but it's still a vector. So if I go and change my persona, as it's called in Affinity, the joy of working in Publisher is that we can hop across to Designer without actually opening anything else. So we haven't got to go down to the bottom of the screen and open up Designer and wait for it to load. Nope, it's like that. And we can still access all the tools that we would expect in Designer. So I can go to the pencil tool, and I can turn on the sculpt function in exactly the same way as what we would if it was in Designer. So if I do that, you're going to see, oh no, it's not going to work. But that's okay, because we're going to go up to layer, convert to curves, and then when you've got your 4 dots, it's a curve, and we can go to a pencil tool, make sure that its sculpt is still on. We're going to first of all take that just that little bit away. Now if I zoom in, we can keep nibbling away at this so that eventually we'll get a nice tracing. So I'm just going to, now this is much easier to do if you have a stylus. But the other thing to bear in mind is that you don't have to get it perfect first time. Because we're working on a picture frame, we're not doing anything to the actual image itself. We can just go around here. Like so, and back to the outside. So we always want to make sure that we're going back to that outside frame and release to make sure that it does sculpt and not just draw a line in the middle of your image. So now we can go back to that, and we've taken out the corner. If you wanted to, we could take out that leaf and then go down here and round there, or we can go around this section. Now if you are into decoupage, as I know some of you are, this can be a way that you can actually decoupage with your own photos, because you can go through and just do all your layer cutting. So much easier to do it this way than it is to fussy cut. And plus, if you make a mistake, it's undoable. So you can go down here, skip the feather, and back up there. So let me just see what comments we've got. Hi Jill, hi Elaine. It keeps freezing to and going black before going back to the stream. Oh, that's such a shame. I don't know why it's struggling so much today, but it didn't want to run the overheads either, so I can't actually show you putting this together, which is a bit annoying. So let's just take that down there for now. And right, okay. So if you have this happen, it's because this node here. So if I go undo, your red node is always your origin node. So I'm going to go back to just before we get there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do another node here. Okay. And let's just take that one out. Okay. So we can see that our blue line is now missing here. And that's because it's actually an open path. So we're just going to close it. And then hopefully we can fix the issue. Let's try again. Okay. Let's get one down here. I'm going to put that down there. So now we can go back to our pencil tool. Like that. Whee! And just make sure you finish on the right hand side of that node. Come on. Around there. I don't know why it's struggling so much today. It really is daft. Okay. So let's zoom up. And we have our flowers that are at the bottom of our frame. So at this point we might go, okay, back to our reference frame, and let's open it up. And I'm just going to go to my image underneath. And let's go back to the publisher view as well. Kind of important. So with our picture frame, I'm just going to unlock it and let's just zoom in so we can decide how big we want that photo. So if we want to chop Ian's head off, we can chop Ian's head off. Okay, so we can move that down. And the good news is when you've got like this, you can still go ahead and do your actual photo print and document. Just hide all the other bits when you're ready to. Okay, so again, that's quite nice and simple. And you could do things like you could bring some dangling flowers in from the bouquet if you wanted to. You could bring in elements from the cocktail glass and so forth. And the good news is that because we've done that tracing, okay, I'm going to duplicate our framing. So that's Command and J or Control and J, and that's going to duplicate it in place. Okay, now we've got our frame here. Now, just in case this goes wrong, I'm going to duplicate that too. So we're going to hedge our bits. I'm going to hide one copy of my flowers and one copy of my frame. So I've kind of got those backed up ready. I'm going to select the two main elements on my frame, and then I'm going to go to geometry and add. Sometimes that works, sometimes it doesn't. This is going to be one of those times it doesn't. Okay, so let's just undo. So I'm going to take the picture out of that one. So I've just got the shape. Now we can go right click, geometry, add. And it's still going to misbehave. Okay. In which case, I'll take the image out of that one too then. So we've got our two shapes. And this one should work. No, it's just not wanting to play ball today, is it? Come on. Your flower shape's on top where it should be. We've done the subtraction like it should do. Let's just make sure that everything is converted to curves. Yeah, it's converted to curves. And that one should be converted to curves. Okay. How weird. It just doesn't want to do it. Also, isn't identifying properly as a curve in here either though. Which to me says it's having a wobbly. Yay. Let's move it through a text back now. And then back to a curve. There we go. So then we've got a preview right in there. She says. It is not liking this, is it? What is wrong with it today? Aha! I can see what was wrong with it. And come on. If it does it to the other one as well, I'm going to be like, oh, there we go. That's what we wanted. So, to get our centre cut line, we have to weld that decorative edge to our base frame, which then gives you this shape in the middle. Now, obviously at the moment, we've still got our outside frame as well. Now, you can either choose to delete that now, or you can do that in Canvas, but just because it's easier in here, I'm just going to delete that from there. So we've got just this inner shape here. And remember, we hid away all our other elements. Let's bring those back in. I'm going to hide my picture out the middle, and I'm going to hide that cut line that we've just done. So now, if you're going to be sticking this into a scrapbook, what you would do is just go and just print that as is, because obviously we're going to be gluing this panel here to stick that to our page. If you're using this as an insert or as an invite or announcement, then just create another rectangle that goes around the outside and just fill that with whatever you want to fill. It could be some more of the paper if you want to. It might be that you have to go, actually, I'm just going to extend this shape here. So let's get me nodes and go, okay. We could go and extend that way. Just going to undo that for a second. Or it could be even that you put in another photo. So let's go back to the publisher and we can go, okay, I'm going to pop another photo in, place image, and down to main 2. And again, rotate, and we can zoom out like so. And because it's a little bit dark, let's just do a little bit of tweaking, as you do. I'm going to go for curves. Now, if you're not confident using curves, you can use levels. It's a little bit too dark on that bottom, so I'm just going to bring that up. So if you've got something where you've been shot against a light background and you're looking dark, you can kind of alter the curve like this. So I'm bringing up the mid-tones, but I'm also trying to keep those lighter tones along this diagonal line. So this diagonal line here basically means that you're not changing what you currently see. Going above it is going to make it lighter. Going above it, and going below it's going to make it darker. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. Just going to do the same to our flowers. So again, if I show you levels this time, so in here we've got what is coming in, what's going out. We need to use to make the white higher, but just watch on that top edge, it's just going to lose a little bit of that detail. And if we bring this one down, you can see it's going to actually lower in the output, so that means we can actually pull back some of that detail, like so, while still lifting the colour. We can alter our gamut as well, just to and I was going to do it so it was all really complicated. So then what you would do is just print that as is, and I'm going to just save that. So let's go to save, and photo sleeve, and because this has actually got images in it, you're going to call it photo sleeve wedding, for example. And then you've always got that to come back to if you need to. And finally, we need to actually take out this cut line. So the easiest way to do that is, let's just put it back in again. I'm just going to select it, and I'm going to copy it. I'm going to do a new document, and I'm going to use one of the ScanNCut ones. So create and paste it in. Now before you go too far, double check your sizes. So in this document here, it's 97.2. In here, because it's in inches, we're just going to change it across to millimeters, 97.2. So that's kind of important. Now, if it helps you at this point, we can put a colour in it. Okay, and we can go to File, Export, and then we can go to SVG. Okay, and because I'm working in Publisher rather than in Designer, so if you've got your ScanNCut settings set up in Designer, use relative coordinates. Use DPI 96, and we should be good to go. Now I'm going to go back to my folder where I've got all my other images. I'm going to call this photo, if I can type, aperture. So now we can go back to Canvas, SVG, and hopefully by the time I've done that, save the aperture. Now it's going to come in the top picture at this point. Let's just get it roughly right. Now we can see that we've got our X and Y location there. Now with your A4, it's going to treat that top corner as 0, so we can go back to Publisher, back to our A4 document, and we can use our 63.5 on the X and 163.1 on the Y. Now that was not the best place to be writing that with. Oh dear. Let's write that again, just so I can see it, because that was just fading away. That's not good. So 163.1. So going back to Canvas. Now at the moment our sizes are in inches, so we just need to hop back to millimeters. 63.5 on the X, 163.1 on the Y, not that. Let's see. It's because it's the other way around what you get in Publisher. Okay, so we now know that our aperture is in the right space. You can take the colour back out of it if you want. You don't have to have that in. And we can see that we have our cut line. So that is how we can still do all the nice editing stuff that we want to do in Publisher or Designer if you only have Designer. But we can still always use Canvas to do that print to cut. So we don't have to worry about alignment, because these registration marks make it super easy for it to then, once we print it out, for it to just go, oh right, that's the size it is, job done. Brilliant. Okay. So, with that, are there any questions? I presume it will work on the original version of Publisher 2. Yep, it's exactly the same whether you're in version 1 or version 2. I haven't used any of the new version 2 features for this one. Hi Zena, long time no see. Okay, so hopefully it irons itself out with the issues it was having. Yeah, it's worth watching the video multiple times. Start with something simple, so how I did just this outside frame to start with, so that you get used to doing just the actual positioning of your fill. Oh, you're all teasing Deb. Anyway, you've got to be nice to Deb, because have you seen in the event page we have a new event on Monday? So Monday at 11 AM, so rather than the usual 7 o'clock slot, it's 11 AM in the morning. There is going to be a very special live with a bit of a new style look, so you're definitely going to want to watch. And it's going to be Deb's first live. So you would definitely want to go. Come on. Hi Christine, I guess it's Christine. And I do apologise to anybody who's watching on YouTube. Actually, just let me flick across the chat and just see. Okay, chat's not wanting to work on here, so I do apologise that I can't see in Streamlabs the multi-stream chat that usually can, because I had to do everything on display today because the camera's not working. Yeah, so Ian's got a bit of a task later. So yes, Debbie's going to be doing a limited supply challenge with me. Okay, so in terms of other things that we have coming up, and thank you all for joining me, and please like and subscribe if you haven't already, depending on which platform you're on. But in terms of things coming up, I put a post out about the magazine. Now I'm going to be doing a very short limited run of those, and I don't think I'm going to have enough for everybody to have one, because it is a limited run, just because we need to get these done by the weekend so that I can take them with me to a trade show. But to make up for that, after I do the March issue, which is usually about the end of Feb, then there will be a new book coming out on Amazon. So it's going to have the first 4 months. So in future, it's going to be coming out quarterly on Amazon. So those of you that are members will get it digitally first, as monthly as per normal. And those of you that are not in the UK, or those of you that miss out when we do our short print runs, you can get it in there instead. The Affinity Workshop, as I said earlier, the details are going to be coming up, and it's going to go into Publisher in a lot more detail in terms of how we can use it to actually create an entire craft collection. So that's going to be a fun workshop to do. And it is almost certainly going to be a full day, then have breakout spaces after. So if that is something you are interested in doing, you're going to be able to have kind of a one-to-one with me as well. So you are definitely going to want to watch more details on how that's going to work. And I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and I hope you've enjoyed that. And I will try and print it and assemble it so that you can see how it all goes together. So take care for now, and bye.